Loaded bases, Jonathan Perrin. What's up?
Not much, man. Good to be here.
Oh yeah.
Cheers, my friend.
Cheers.
Always a
Always.
pleasure to get a chance to shoot it with you. Uh, Second appearance. Am I your first repeat offender on here?
Yeah. Yep.
Hey, there we go. I got the crown. Let's go.
Yes, sir. Yeah, you are the number one second timer on the new rebrand whole idea. And shit, I think we'll just jump into it.
All right, let's go.
All right. So last week there was the Cubs prospect that got caught with the 21 pounds of meth. And in the article it said that he did it for only $500. Do you think that if minor leaguers made more than what they do you think that there would still be this issue just for $500?
Uh, well, yeah. So minor leaguers should definitely make more money. I don't know if you should necessarily resort to slanging meth. Or I sounds like he wasn't even slanging it. He was just
He was
transporting
transporting
it.
it. Yep.
Um, so that is an unfortunate situation that that young man uh, got himself in, where he felt like he needed to do that to make a few $100, man. That's sad. That's a tough one, but I don't know if I can go as far as to say you should go slang meth to make ends meet in the off season, even during a global pandemic. But
That's true.
you are right. Minor leaguers definitely should be getting paid more, and there are a lot of steps being taken. We're already going to see a pay raise this year, which is nice.
What did
Minor
they
leaguers
say
are
that it
going to.
was going to be?
It looks like it's going to be somewhere around 50% across the board, is
Hey,
what I've been hearing.
that's better
But
than nothing.
we'll see. We'll see what happens when the first paychecks actually get cut. So, and unfortunately, that did come at the expense of 42 minor league franchises being cut from affiliation and forced to do something else. But baby steps, small progress, and at least we're trending in the right direction as far as actual dollar figures go in those guys' pockets.
That is true. So let's say, because I think the minor leaguers report next week, and then I
Yeah, that's
wonder,
correct.
yeah. So then I mean, like, I wonder if because usually like everyone goes to spring training at the same time, correct? Am I right on that one?
Usually, yeah, you have the big leaguers and the minor leaguers there together, but now you'll just have all the big league guys will have shipped out, and then they'll bring in their minor league guys from there, starting next week.
So I guess, like, from what I've heard is that is also a way that they're going to keep like the pay down. I mean, because the minor league season won't be as long.
Right. Yeah. So that's the other thing is you don't get paid in spring training, in the minor leagues or the major leagues. In the major
Yeah.
leagues, you do get a stipend per diem, the same way you do in the minor leagues. But in the minor leagues, it's $25 a day, or it was. I believe that number is going up. Versus in the big leagues, in major league camp, you make about $1,100-$1,200 a week in your stipend. So big difference of
That's not bad.
$175 a week versus 1,200. So it gets a little thin down there, but you're right. You don't only get paid during the season. So other part of that is you also do not get paid in the off season as a professional baseball player. So you're basically getting paid pennies on the dollar for what you're worth for 5 months out of the year, and then you're still expected to train at an elite level. So that is kind of the long story short of the gripe against why minor league pay should be changed.
There's a lot of issues, and was it so the new CBA for majors in 2022, correct?
Yeah, so it expires after this year in the big leagues. So that's going to be a whole nother set of issues is, whether or not there's going to be a labor agreement done before um, next spring training. So I'm just excited that there's baseball being played,
Yeah.
but it sounds like we're going to get a full season because that is going to be a little dicey, and I'm not 100% sure that we'll play a full season of baseball next year.
Yeah, I was actually talking to one of the sports reporters like for the Yakima Herald, like which is like where I'm from, and we were talking about next year, and we both agree that there will be a strike in the beginning of 2022. That is just what I mean. I think will happen.
I tend
Just
to agree
because,
with you.
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I mean because because we kind of saw like last year in 2020, like with just trying to bring baseball back, and they could not come to agreement with what was like the difference of 10 games.
Right.
And it was
Yeah,
just
there's a lot of sticking points between the union and the owners right now, and you saw how much of an impasse it was, this past year, and I just don't think that that's going to get much better here going forward. And if anything, I think coronavirus probably accelerated that, or added to the fuel to the fire, if you will, as far
oh yeah,
as causing some tension between the players and the owners, even more so than was already there. Doing to the fact of kind of what's happened in the free agent market over the past couple off seasons. And now, revenues got cut way down. The salary cuts that guys took last year. I mean, we didn't even know when spring training was going to start
that is true.
at the first week of February. It was like, it was 10 or 11 days before guys reported that they actually found out that they were going to have a regular spring training in a 162 game season. So it's a little dicey out there from a labor negotiation standpoint at the big league level.
How was going down to Arizona?
Oh, it was great. For me, that was the first time I'd gotten to see professional baseball. I didn't get
Yeah,
to watch any professional baseball at all last year in person. And so for me to get to go out there and see some friends and some clients and former teammates out there and get to watch some great baseball, see big league baseball back with fans in the stands,
yeah,
even at a limited capacity, it did my soul good, man. It's good to have baseball
yep.
back. And like I said, I'm super excited that they're going to play 162 this year.
So, like, cause you went down there, I guess, like to talk to clients, like for like what you do. So, what do you do? I guess, like, since we probably talked, I guess, on the podcast back July. So, like, what has happened for you in the past 8 months in the, I guess, like in the baseball, like the finance world?
Yeah, so I'm a financial advisor at Waterfront Advisors in Overland Park,
Yeah.
Kansas. So I'm a former professional baseball player, obviously, and during my last 2 years of pro ball, I was working with a former podcast guest of yours, Jonathan Fink, at
Yep.
his investment management firm as an advisor while I was still playing. And then last year around this time, the pandemic was going on. Spring training had got shut down, and I was still a free agent. I hadn't gotten a contract yet, so decided to go ahead and pivot and go full time into the financial advisory business. I've been doing that for almost a year now, full time. And yeah, so I took that knowledge that I knew from playing and doing that as a player, and have started to work with some current and former teammates of mine and professional guys, as well as starting to work with some guys coming up through the draft this year as well.
Yep.
So that was a lot of fun, just getting to go out and see a couple college guys that I'm been talking through some things with here leading up to the draft in July, and then just talking to some former teammates and seeing some good friends and getting some guys set up for their season, getting the budgets locked in and everything. And then also got to go out there and see my good buddy and the co-founder of More Than Baseball,
Mhm.
an organization that works for advocating for minor leaguers, Jeremy Wolf. He's a great guy. You've had him on the podcast
Yep.
as well.
Oh yeah.
So an old friend, shout out Jeremy and the More Than Baseball family. So I'm a volunteer director of financial education for them as well. So we've been doing some stuff for minor league guys here this off season, putting together some webinars, putting together some content for them, helping them build budgets, understanding what they need to expect here. It's the middle of tax season right
Yeah.
now. So helping guys understand what paperwork they need to be able to get their taxes filed, just very basic stuff, trying to be a resource for those guys who may not necessarily have access to that type of stuff otherwise.
Yeah, there's I guess you can kind of call me a brand ambassador for More Than Baseball, because I mean I do have their logo tattooed on my leg. So
Right. Yeah. So you're in it to win it. I love that,
dude,
man.
that
So
was that was a very random thing. It was so I was texting Jeremy, and then I kind of like made a joke about it, and then he was like, "There's no way that you'll do that." And shit, for about 45 minutes later, I got it tattooed on my leg.
yeah, there you go. That's
No,
awesome.
I mean, because that right there, I mean, like that's like how much like I believe in like what more than baseball is doing like for like the minor leagues and like to help them with pay and resources, and I mean it's a huge deal, huge deal.
Oh yeah, I mean there it's wonderful to be a part of an organization. Since the Save America's Pastime Act
Yep.
came back in what was that, March of 2018 was when I kind of first really kind of started waking up to this issue, and actually got in contact with Jeremy and Slade when that was founded, and they kind of started getting more than baseball going. And while I was still playing, I did some interviews with NPR and things like that, trying to get the word out about the situation that was going on. And then those guys have just really taken and ran with it while after they had left the game, and they've really thrown themselves wholeheartedly into that. Including Simon Rosenblum Larson, who's a
Yep.
current player, Harvard guy, super smart. He's doing a lot of player outreach for them as well. So those three guys, they work their butt off for not a lot of pay, just like the minor league grinders
Yep.
out there. But they work their butt off for these guys to give them those resources and help them navigate the stresses and the tough road that can be minor league baseball at times. And I think they really showcased that here in the last year with the pandemic going on, minor league baseball being shut down. More Than Baseball was able to give out grants to a lot of players, help them financially. Like, I'm literally putting money in guys'
Yep.
pockets. And they've had some great contributions from big leaguers, like Adam Wainwright and a lot of those guys wearing the cleats in the playoffs, bringing awareness to it. So
Oh yeah,
it's
that
really
was
cool to
huge.
see that the
That was
organization
really cool.
has, yeah, Slade and Simon and Jeremy have worked really hard to get the brand out there, and more people are talking about the issue of minor league baseball and the treatment of players at that level. So I'm very excited to see the progress. There's still a lot of work to be done, of course, but the fact that we've pretty much been able to at least move the needle over the last few years in the right direction is a huge testament to the organization and those guys at the top running the show.
So yeah, so I'm like, so when you visited other ballparks, like in like the visiting clubhouses, what was your least favorite meal that they would provide?
Well, so in Biloxi, Mississippi, I spent all of 2017 in Biloxi, Mississippi. And in the Southern League, you play 5-game sets. And we would get basically the same 5 meals every homestand at the home
Dang.
ballpark. And one of the meals was like, it was like cheese, like pasta shells, and like this really gnarly like brisket barbecue just covered in sauce, and that was it. Like, that was it. Like, it was just like gnarly mac and cheese and this kind of bummy barbecue, and we would get that every homestand. It was like the third game of the set every single time, like clockwork. And after you're like, you're 60 70 games into your 60th home game of the year, you've had it, this is the 12th time you've had it. You're just like, oh,
Just sick and
you
tired
can't
of brisket.
you can't even look at it anymore. You know what I mean?
I mean, I could eat mac and cheese almost every day, but if it's like, oh, well, I mean, I could eat like Velveeta every day, even though that's like the bottom end of like the big corporation mac and cheese. But I mean, like if I had like a homemade mac and cheese just every day that was not well taken care of, I would get tired of that shit so fast.
Yeah, see, I'm a barbecue guy. I'm from Kansas City. We know
Yeah.
our barbecue
Oh
around
yeah.
here. So like,
Big.
you can't bring bummy brisket up to me. Like, I can't do that. Like, that's against my religion here in Kansas City.
That is
That's our
true.
thing. So yeah, it was a tough grind that year.
It's the shit food in the minors.
And that's why they call it the minor league grind. And
Hey,
it
but
is getting better.
yeah,
It is getting better. I think more teams are realizing that there's an investment to be made there. And that if you're providing proper nutrition for these guys at these levels, because if you're not going to pay them, you can at least
give
provide them
food.
with some resource. Yeah, give them
Yeah,
some good food to eat after a ball game that they just busted their butt at for, they were there in the game for 3.5 hours, but you don't see the 4 or 5 hours of prep work too that goes into that.
yeah.
It's
I mean, like at least give them like a gym membership, like for the off season,
yeah.
just to stay in shape.
A couple of the suggestions that I've made is pay the same salary but pay it 12 months out of the year,
Yeah.
because minor league coaches get paid they get paid 12 months out of the year
I didn't know
because
that.
they're normal human beings
Oh,
with
okay.
families and stuff.
Well, I guess like as
So,
they,
they get
yeah,
health insurance. We get the health insurance and stuff year round, but why wouldn't you just pay us year round? Like, you should pay us to train. Like, that's our job. So, even if
true.
it is you're making $1,500 a month, but $1,500 a month 5 months out of the year versus 12 months out of the year, that completely changes the way you look at an off season and what you can do with your time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's what you help out with, like with the financial stuff, is to give them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for depending on who you are, I mean,
Yep.
we got to help you find a way somehow. Now, whether or not that's, for higher level picks, that's living off your signing bonus, right? Like
That's
that's,
true.
you're gonna draw down off your signing bonus. You're gonna live off that. You're gonna invest a decent chunk of it to try and make some of it grow, but then the rest, that's kind of what you have to invest in yourself as a ball player. But those guys that are later round guys or seniors, they don't necessarily have that.
Yeah.
Now you're looking at, you got to go find a job in the off season. That's what I did, right? Like go wait
Yep.
tables, work at give pitching lessons, whatever you got to do. And that just takes time and focus and energy away from being able to train and become a elite level baseball player, which is what they're asking you to do.
So let's say that, okay, so I have a question. So if you get hurt and you're not playing, okay, so let's say that you're a pitcher and you get hurt. Do you get paid for being on the DL?
Yes. Yeah.
You
You
do?
get
Okay.
paid while you're on the deal. But if you're in rehab, like let's say, you are in June, right? Like you strain your UCL, right?
Yep.
Like 12 weeks, you're done. You're going to end up missing the rest of the season.
Yep.
Maybe you'll rehab. You'll go back to, excuse me. You'll go back to Arizona, right? You'll go back to Arizona or Florida, wherever your spring training's at. Then from there, you're going to get paid through the end of the season of whatever affiliate you're at. And then after that, now you're back on the spring training plan where you're getting meal money,
Damn.
right? So you're getting $175 a week. That's basically is what you typically would get if you're staying in the team hotel. So you're getting $175 a week and you're going into off season. And then you'll probably play through Instructs, which is the same gig as spring training, just in the fall, where you're getting paid your meal money and you're staying in a team hotel, and that's it. And then that's what happened to me. And then I got cleared right out of Instructs, and I went home for the off season after my first year of pro ball. And then it was like, okay, the money stopped. I still have to continue my exercise program to keep my shoulder healthy so I can pitch next year. But now I got to go find a job because I need to pay for all these things.
So pretty much don't get hurt and take care of yourself.
Don't get hurt. Get drafted in the first round and get to the big leagues as fast as you can. That's the recipe for success in professional baseball.
It sounds pretty
so easy.
Yeah,
it's super simple. Get drafted in the first round. Get to the big leagues as fast as you can.
I'm gonna declare for the draft in July and just make it happen.
July 11th. I'll see you there.
Deal. So okay. So you're saying like that you had to you had to rehab like your arm and all that. So what is the craziest thing that you have done to take care of your arm that you've heard from other people? Like
the craziest thing that I've done or the craziest thing that I've heard? Or both?
Let's do both, man.
All right. So, honestly, the crazy, I don't know if this is crazy or not, but it was funny at the time. But we had a guy, I think it was in Low A. We were playing in, I think it was Quad Cities, and a couple couple of our guys, it was the end of the season, like late August, early September, last couple weeks of the year. Everybody's grinding, like
Yeah.
everybody's hurt. I was already on the DL at the time, actually. Like my shoulder was already banged up. And we had a couple of relievers snort C4 in the clubhouse.
No shit.
And then rub red hot on their arm and then get hot. So that was probably, snorting pre-workout. So you just, get a buzz going and then run into the game. So that was probably the craziest thing I saw from somebody else. And then for me personally, this is a pretty funny story. You'll get a kick out of this one, I think. So I played in the Mexican League in
dude,
2019.
I couldn't even imagine down there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so it's different down there, man. It's there's not a lot of rules. It's kind of like a couple guys compared it. It's like, dude, this is like what playing in the big leagues in the 90s was like. Like I was like, I could see that. Like there was not a lot of rules, a lot of crazy stuff going on. But so I made my first start, went like 5 1/3 innings. We win the game. Everything was good. Everybody's happy. I just signed out of any ball there. Everything was all good. And the next day, come into the training room. We're on the road in this place called Oaxaca, which is like way south, like south of Mexico City. So I'm sitting there in the training room, and I'm getting work done on my shoulder, just getting a massage, all that good stuff. And then the trainer goes, "Hey, papi, anoche, like 93, 94, pretty good, not bad. Like, hey, papi, maybe to see CHGH, 97, 98, you know, say." And I was like, no. It's like, no, I'm good. Like, no HGH, no steroids.
Damn.
And then from there, he's like, well, what about B12? And I was like, oh, okay. Like, yeah, I've taken B12 shots before in college. Like, they honestly are great. Like, they really make you feel good. I was like, yeah, I can do that. And other American guys on the team are like, oh, you can get a B12 with Voltaren, which is like an anti-inflammation cream and pill that I had used. Actually, got some right here because I figured I was going to show it. So straight out of Mexico right here.
That's crazy.
But so they're like, yeah, it's great, man. You feel good for like 4 straight days. I was like, okay, yeah, like hit me with it. So like 2 days before my second start, they gave me the B12 and the Voltaren injection. It could have been something else. Who knows? But
Dude,
that's what they told me it was. Down there, I guess you don't know, but I decided to go with it and try it. I felt pretty good. I hit 95, but I didn't get out of the second inning. So, take it for what it's worth.
Dude, it's like tap water from Mexico. I would not drink it, or I would not do it.
Yeah, that's one thing about traveling to Latin America, because I played in the Dominican a couple times as well. Yeah, you don't. Whenever you travel overseas, you just don't drink the tap water.
It's just like I've done some pretty crazy shit, but I don't think I would have taken a shot from a trainer down there.
Hey,
who just mentioned HGH, like.
Right. Well, yeah. So other American guys that had been there for a little while, they were all like, "Oh, it's cool." So I was like, "Okay, you know what? I guess it was some peer pressure type stuff." It was like, "Well, everybody else in the rotation's doing it. I guess I'll snag one of these as well." But I got released 3 weeks later, so I guess it didn't really work out so good for me. But
damn. No, like in high school, I had like shoulder problems and elbow problems like all through high school. And I would probably have to take so I would take 4 leave before just normal practice and 4 after, and then I would ice, and like my arm is dead. But then I think was my junior year. I took a Vicodin like before I pitched, and then it was just like I didn't feel my arm, so I just kept throwing. I was like, I feel great. And then, and then I couldn't throw or anything for like 7 days after that.
Ooh, yeah, you were just blown up.
But but then you get stuck on that. Well, then I'll just take another one, and then you just keep going. That just ruins your body.
Yeah, that's how habits form for sure. Yeah, I mean, I got stomach problems to this day. I had a stomach ulcer in college. I mean,
Yep.
I was a surgery survivor in college, and before I got the surgery and got healthy, I was eating Celebrex, eating, ibuprofen, way too many ibuprofen. And it rotted my stomach out a little
It
bit,
does.
like for real. Like I got a stomach ulcer. To this day have some issues with that, because it burns up your insides. But at the same time, I was like, it was my junior year. I was trying to get drafted. We
You got to do
had
what you got to
just
do.
won the Big 12 conference regular season. We were on a chance to go to Omaha. Like, what 20 going on 21-year-old kid is going to say, I'm not going to pitch, or you can have the team doctor bring me my Celebrex every night after the game with my Gatorade when the trainer comes by. And
That's true.
that's what it was, man. It was like Big 12 tournament. It was like, we'd be in the hotel, trainers coming by with the protein shake and the Gatorade for everybody in their hotel room at night. And then, just the team doctor would be at certain doors if you needed your anti-inflammatories or your cold medicine, whatever
Yep.
whatever you needed to like make sure that you were good to go out and play in the tournament. That was it. Nothing crazy, but
Yeah.
you did what you needed to do.
So it's not like the stuff you see on Blue Mountain State when you just take a shot of rabies before to go out.
No, yeah, Blue Mountain State's a great TV show, but
That
definitely
would be
definitely a little bit
insane.
out there.
No, well, so then what is it? So like in college, I mean, like before like weights and stuff. I mean, just because my arm hurt so bad, and then like because this was before, I guess before like I had my shoulder like redone, and I mean like we would straight up like take like I mean we would smoke weed just so we would like relax, and then our arm would just it would help.
Yeah, I mean,
I think so, at least.
I'm I'm a pro marijuana advocate.
Oh, for
Obviously, given
sure.
my suspension history at the minor league level, I am an advocate for marijuana.
I did not
But
know that. I did not know that you got suspended.
I did, yes. So that was not one of my prouder moments, but I did do that. But the thing is they changed the rule. Like they
Yeah.
finally did change the rule. So now they no longer test for it at the minor or major. They never tested for it at the big league level. They only tested for it at the minor league level for a long time. And then last year, it was like 13 months ago, they changed the
Yeah.
rule and started there. They stopped testing for it in the minor leagues. And I know a lot of guys at the big league level that they use it when you come home from a
Oh
game
yeah, easily.
and you're just trying to unwind, relax, take a load off, get to sleep. It's much better for you than it is for alcohol because baseball is a
Yep.
game that you play every single day. It's
Yep.
not like football or where you play once a week, or even basketball where you usually get a night or two off in between games. Baseball is an everyday thing, right? So you show up every single day and you have to be playing at the highest level, especially if you're a position player. So having a way that you can kind of unwind, relax, help yourself get to sleep, that's also not going to hurt your recovery process the way
Yeah.
alcohol does. I think is pretty beneficial. And I think that's why you saw, at the big league level, they weren't testing for it because guys with a union were advocating like, hey guys, like this is better for us than going out and drinking. And, like
Yeah.
I'd rather come home, hit my vape, come back to the hotel, hit my vape pen and watch a little TV and go to sleep. Right. Like
Yep.
that's what would you rather your players be doing at the
Yeah.
same
See,
time too? So
it like it's the same thing with like, okay, I mean like for me, I mean, I will smoke weed or take an edible at night. And then I'll wake up in the morning feeling great. Not I'm like it doesn't roll over. But then but then you got jobs that test for it, but then they allow their employees to go out and go drink, which therefore they're hungover in the morning. And that's like the same with like the everyday playing. I mean, what would you rather your players do?
yeah. And you got to think about it just from the way the body recovers too.
Yeah,
How alcohol affects your sleep patterns,
exactly.
how it affects your muscle tissue recovery, things like that. Dehydrates you. There's a lot of negatives that come with alcohol, and a lot of people just be like, why don't you just not do anything? Oh, it's like, well, you try and play into the big leagues, like you try keeping this schedule.
That's
So that's kind of the snapback that I always have for people on that. But that's kind of my 2 cents on it.
no, I'm definitely on your side. I mean, like, cause I see stuff like on Twitter like all the time. I mean, like about or like the players that you see. I mean, they're like out and about, and then fans will say, hey, like, why are you out doing this like after the game? Oh, and say because you make this amount of money to play baseball, so why are you doing this like after the game? It's like, well, they're people too, and
Yeah.
they're just having fun. I mean, that's just what you do.
Yeah, I mean, that's a thing that I think a lot of people don't or lose sight of when it comes to super amazing athletes, or and even like in the NCAA tournament. I mean, yeah, I don't know if you've seen any of some of the messages that kids were getting
Dude,
sent, like that one
yes.
kid from Ohio State.
Yeah, that was
I mean,
fucked up.
and it's just terrible, man. I mean, these people are human beings. Like, could you imagine if somebody, I always kind of in the minors, I kind of always joked with my teammates, like, could you imagine if we made a commercial where like we walked into just random office buildings like around town and just heckled people the way they heckle
Yeah,
us in the bullpen?
exactly.
Like, could you imagine if I just walked into like some insurance company? It's like, hey Billy, you're a bum. Your spreadsheets are awful. Go back to grad school, you idiot. Like, or whatever. Like, hey, can I have your stapler? Hey, can I have your stapler if you break it? Like, I just think that would be hilarious. Like, people just think that because they're on TV or they're,
Yeah,
they're playing a game that they get a free pass, and that's not the case. Like, that is your fellow human being over
yeah.
there.
It's. I mean, like, with doing like the podcast stuff, it's just. I mean, you guys are just. You guys have cool jobs, and you guys,
Right. It's
yeah,
like having a buddy with a really cool job.
yeah, and that's. I mean, and that's like how I see it. And then, because there's people like that I talk to, and then they think it's just like they're like, holy shit, like you talked like to so and so, and it's like, yeah, but they're just the same. They're just normal people.
Right.
Well, I mean, yeah, like they might have like a verified little check by your name, but that doesn't change anything.
Well, it shouldn't. You
Yeah,
would hope.
exactly. I mean, but the way that people view, I mean, like professional sports, even college sports, like with like March Madness going, uh, like with March Madness going on right now, it's crazy.
Athletes, we're people too.
Exactly.
And
That
that kind
shit.
of goes back, that kind of honestly, to kind of bring it back to my shtick about minor league pay, to bring that all
Exactly.
back about, athletes being humans. It's like we're trying, like, this is a human being trying to do something that is extremely, extremely difficult, and it requires resources and investment and time
Yep.
to be able to do the things necessary. Like, it's already hard enough. Like, it's like you see during March Madness, you see these commercials all the time. Less than 2% of athletes go pro, right? So you're already the elite of the elite, and then you're trying to be the 1% of the 1%.
Yeah.
And then they're expecting you to get there on $8,000 a year, right? So that's where the rub comes. It's like you got to make an investment in these people and treat them like a human being, and
Yeah.
invest some capital into these human beings who are a part of your organization.
Pay the kids.
Yeah, and then let them play
Exactly. Well, no,
with
I'm
fans.
with fans. Uh,
At least in some shape or form. It doesn't have to be 100% just yet. I'm not saying we go Texas Rangers on them, but let's get some
dude,
fans in there, man.
I looked at tickets like for opening day at Texas just because I wanted to go to the like 100% like capacity just to experience it.
Do
I
you think
mean,
they'll get there? Do you think it'll sell out?
and
Like, do you think
oh yeah,
there's
for sure.
45,000 people in Texas willing to go to that game at once? You think? I think there is in
I think
Texas.
there will be for sure. I legit think that they will sell out. I mean,
I hope so.
That'll probably be the only game that Texas Rangers sell out. But
Well, maybe not if they're the only ones that allow
true.
fans, you know?
Well, okay, so if it's just the Rangers, I'm like, what about Houston?
Well, I'm saying 100% capacity.
Oh, hell, dude, I know that I guess like from here, so I know that the people really want to go to like I I think that people who are non-baseball fans will even go
Just to do something.
just to do something.
I mean, I'm bored. Are you bored? Well, you're not bored. You're the busiest person alive, but
I am, dude.
I'm trying to
Hey,
go out.
I mean, yeah, I would go for sure. I think they will sell out.
And then hopefully everybody stays safe. That's the only other thing is like maybe they do it and get away with it and just everything goes smooth.
I
I
guess
hope that
once here we go.
I was just gonna say I hope that they pull it off. I hope it goes smooth. I hope it works. I hope everybody can open this back up as sooner rather than later safely and we can kind of get back to it because I would love nothing more to see a summer of baseball with fans in the stands and late July, July 4th and
Yep.
like people are back in the stands. You got just get that vibe going. Like you'd be like, oh man, okay, we're back.
Yeah.
I would love for that to happen.
It's I mean, with let's say I think Seattle's gonna have 25% capacity
Mhm.
this year, which I mean, I think they'll hit the 25%.
Oh, yes. I mean, they do that probably just in season tickets, I would think.
Yeah.
Close.
I mean, what is it? Well, Seattle for sure. So when I was season ticket for the Marlins, that would have been a little rough.
Well, that's the Marlins. Nobody goes to those games.
Okay. I went to 46 games. I was like, I mean,
yeah, you and 46 other people.
there was a few nights where there was barely anyone, and then they would announce like over like the intercom, say, "Hey, like, I mean, like if you are up high, please come sit down low," and then that's only for the TV. So it looks
Yeah,
like it.
so it looks fuller.
Well, yeah, there was so I know, I'm like being like on like the Cubs pages and all that stuff. I mean, that's gonna be sold out all year, and say, I mean, I am 86,000th in line for season tickets, so that's
It's a hot
investment right
ticket,
there,
man. A
dude.
lot of people trying to get on that.
Once I get on that list, that will be forever. That'll be a forever thing.
Yeah, that's why you're 87,000 or 86,000th in line because
But
everybody
okay,
else is thinking the same thing.
but I am actually content with that because over the past 2 years, I've jumped up about 40,000. So, I mean, in the
So you're
odds,
saying there's a chance.
exactly. That's what I'm saying. So there's a chance, and then that'll be my gift to my grandkids.
Do I get to be? How many tickets do you get?
I haven't decided yet.
Oh, I
I
was gonna
mean,
say, do I get to come with you to your first season taking game?
well, if I'm like able to walk by the time,
True.
I mean,
I guess I'm getting ahead of myself here. That might not
hey,
happen this century.
the
The
century.
What's gonna happen first? The Cubs win another World Series, or you get season tickets?
Oh shit. That's actually, I wonder. Hmm, probably the Cubs win a World Series.
I sure hope so for your sake as a fan.
Dude, I mean, I'm content with the one. I mean, the whole story with 2016. I'm content with
And
that one.
that's why you guys are the lovable losers.
Exactly. We're
We're
content with
good. We
one
got our
every
one.
century.
I'm good for another 86.
I mean, like, cause I kind of like make fun of what is it? It's like the Yankee fans like who haven't gotten a World Series in a while, and then they say, "Oh yeah, but we have 27." It's like, I kind of understand. I will say, yeah, we got our three, but we won in 2016, so that's
Yeah, I just growing up with the Yankees, I mean, I was born in 93, so I
okay.
just learned
Yeah.
what baseball was, and it was just like the Yankees are the goats. Like it
Yep.
was Jeter, Rivera, Clemens, like they were just killing everybody. So I was all in on the Yankees as a young kid because they were just destroying everybody, and I was like, this is amazing. These guys are awesome.
It's, I mean, yeah, because, well, born in '94, since there wasn't baseball. Well, I mean, there was, but the whole strike happening, and then I guess just pretty much, I guess I was cursed from the get-go. Like there wasn't baseball, and since there wasn't baseball last year, I'm like, for that first part, that's just how my life goes. So I think I saw my one.
There you go. Hey, you got one more than a lot of Cubs fans.
That's true. Yeah, there was a. Let's see. I don't think the Brewers have one, do they?
No.
How do you think the NL Central will go this year?
Brewers are the best team in that division. I'm all in on the Brewers this year. I believe in my boys. I'm all in on the Brewers this year. They're so good. Dude, Woodruff at the top of that rotation, gross.
Pretty good.
Brandon Woodruff is a freaking stud. Most underrated number one in the big leagues. I'm telling you right now. Hot take. Here's a hot take for you. Brandon Woodruff, most underrated number one in the big leagues right now.
Not even. I would pick Kyle Hendricks over Brandon Woodruff any day.
I feel like we should just end the podcast on that. No, I get that. Kendricks has been good, but man, Woody's a real deal. He's looked sharp. They got Corbin Burns, who looks sharp. He's kind of got it dialed in. I was on his team in 17? Yeah, 2017 when he was just killing people. Oh my gosh, hey, he looks like he did then. Like he is dialed in. He looks disgusting. And then that bullpen, dude. I mean, you got Hader and Williams. Like, dude, you get to the eighth inning with a lead, the game's over. You know what I mean? Like,
rough. That is the worst part about watching the Cubs play the Brewers. I mean, because like you have to get up, like you have to get them early.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, you get to the eighth inning with a lead against the Brewers, game's over. You might as well just go home. Like, you're not winning that one. You good luck getting a hit. Honestly, with them two at the back end of the bullpen, like a hit should count as a run at that point. Like they're that good.
So on fantasy baseball, I would always pick up Brandon Woodruff. Like you said, it's very underrated.
I think he's gonna punch 200 this year if he stays healthy.
Really,
dude, he's got the real deal stuff, man. Top end stuff. I think he's gonna put it together. I got him having a huge year this year.
So with you saying that, what's your prediction for the awards? So who do you say? Okay, so let's start with the AL MVP.
Is it a cop out to say Trout?
No, because I would say the same.
Because he was saying some stuff about figuring out some.
He just figured out his swing. It's like
I'm like, if Trout figured something out, like he's gonna hit 450. So I'm gonna say Trout until otherwise. Easy. On the MVP.
Cy Young.
That's a little tricky. I'll
give you mine.
Yeah, who you got?
Lucas Giolito.
Going White Sox, huh?
Yep.
Yeah, he's pretty gross. Man, I'm trying to think. That's a good pick. I don't even Giolito, Barrios from Minnesota. Like sure. he might come up. He's pretty good. And then Shane Bieber, like dude, I was reading a stat. I was reading an article about him today that was talking about how he does not throw the ball over the plate and he just gets people to swing at it. So I'm gonna have to go with Shane Bieber in the AL.
I mean, Tristan McKenzie. He's young from Cleveland.
Yeah, I mean, he's not gonna. Is he gonna throw 200 innings? Are the Indians gonna let him throw 200 innings?
Probably not, but
yeah, like they're gonna shut him down at 150 and he won't qualify.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I'll go Shane Bieber.
Okay. Let's see. Let's just go NL MVP.
I got Pete Alonso just going bonkers
Really?
up there. I got Pete Alonso hitting another 50 jacks this year
Jesus.
and just going bonkers. I think the Mets are going to be good, man. They got Steve Cohen, they got the new owner. Because I got Alonso winning MVP, and I got DeGrom going again on the Cy Young, and I got the Mets being really good.
I got DeGrom going Cy Young.
Yeah, I mean,
But like for MVP,
he looked so good this spring. Like he keeps going up. He's sitting 100. He's sitting 100 as a starter.
and he'll go 100 through 8.
Yes, with a 94-mile-an-hour wipeout slider. It's incredible to watch him throw, man.
I would
He's a
shit
special,
my
special guy.
pants in that box.
I'm not sleeping on Max Scherzer in a full season, but until otherwise, I mean, ain't nobody throwing the ball better than DeGrom.
I've always wanted. What was it? So last year I chose Yu Darvish to win the Cy Young, just because I was biased on that whole choice. And he actually, he got second. So
Yeah.
I was
Well,
pretty stoked on that.
my bias pick for Cy Young in the AL was going to be John Means, but I figured that's too much home cooking, so I'll go
Hey.
somewhere else.
Crazier things have happened.
Hey, it's not crazy. Dude's an all-star. He's nasty.
See? So there you go.
The Orioles just stink. And they're actively trying to lose, so
I do not doubt that one. It's rough.
I mean, they got rid of the only good players the guys that actually contributed, they got rid of for the most part. It's crazy.
But that's what losing teams do, though. They say, "Oh, well, we're not going to be good for the next 5 years. Get rid of them."
Yep, and that's pretty much why we're going to be at a strike probably next year because of the tanking issue.
Well, yeah. If you look at okay. Well, the Padres are different. Because they still have one of the top farm systems, and they just spent all this money and signed and traded.
Well, Preller's a genius. That guy's an absolute. He built an unbelievable big league roster. He had a blank check to do it, which helps, but he's built an unbelievable roster. A lot of their pitching staff is homegrown, and they still got help coming from down in the minor leagues as either trade ships or coming up as young contributors. So that dude Preller over there in San Diego, yeah, he's the real deal.
And then what was it? So with the Marlins situation, I thought that was smart. Fans, the other 46 fans who were there, did not think that was smart. And dude, I would argue with them about it. And I would be like, this is unreal.
Yeah, I don't know. It's you're supposed to compete as hard as you can with the resources that you got, in my opinion, in professional sports. Losing on purpose is against the spirit of sports.
In some cases, that's very, very frowned upon. Especially, let's say because there's people who can't be inducted into the Hall of Fame because they lost on purpose or they bet against themselves.
Yeah, isn't that's the crazy part is where do you draw the line? Losing on purpose for draft picks or losing on purpose for money? It's still losing on purpose. On principle in the world of sport, that doesn't compute with sports. You have to try your best to win the game every time.
And I think that's the whole. Okay, should Pete Rose be in the Hall of Fame?
Oh, absolutely. What? Yes, 1,000%.
Should Barry Bonds be in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, Barry Bonds is the best baseball player I've ever seen. Barry Bonds should be in the Hall of Fame. He's the home run king, and he's the best. He's the best offensive player in the history of baseball. He's better offensively than Babe Ruth.
I think that Babe Ruth is a mythical creature, and he's not real. Or he is real, just to make people happy.
Yeah. They didn't walk Babe Ruth with bases loaded though. They only did that to one guy.
That is true. And so there's so I went down a YouTube loophole, and there was a video of this guy, or he broke down the whole entire year that Barry Bonds broke the on base percentage record, and it's unreal. And I mean, at like the number of times that he got walked with bases loaded,
Yeah, it's
insane.
incredible. Yeah, like they did it multiple times. They were just like, we're not gonna let you be in. And it's not like he had a scrub behind him. Like he had Jeff Kent.
Yeah.
like it's not like it wasn't like this dude was hitting 230 behind him. Like the guy behind him was an all-star too. They were just like, nah, like we just not gonna pitch to Barry. So yes, he should be in the Hall of Fame. Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame. But
So do you think that
Roger Clemens should be in the Hall of
Yes.
Fame.
Well, yeah. So, was it Kurt Schilling took himself off the ballot, like for next year?
Yeah, Kurt Schilling, man. You know, I'm not much one for defending the character clause, but it seems like he might be the one guy where I'd be like, dude, you're kind of just spewing filth on the internet. I don't know. And he a block Hall of Famer before? Like I thought he was like he'd get in, but it'd probably be a little bit later. But I guess most people have him more as like a lock type Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Before everything kind of has gone down online.
I don't know. It's a pretty gray area with him. But I mean, like the whole fact of like they won't induct Bonds or Clemens, it's rough. It's like I think that like during the 90s and like how like everything went down, like the 90s, early 2000s, like baseball. I mean, it was great, but people went and watched like the guys who took steroids, and like it was an obvious thing that they were doing it, and then they brought people to the game. So did steroids save baseball?
This is a great way to end this podcast. Yes, 100%. I am a firm believer. I mean, you look at what happened with the attendance after the 94 strike.
Yep.
You look at what happened with all that, and then all of a sudden you have the summer of 98. The summer of 98 for me is the first summer I remember watching baseball. I remember sitting there in the living room all summer long watching Sosa and McGuire just hit bomb after bomb after bomb after bomb.
Oh, yeah.
And now you look back, like, you know, I got older and I was, in college and started looking back on these documentaries and things of that summer. Like, these guys look like freaking guys out of Slugfest, man. Yep. Like,
yes,
it's so obvious looking back what these guys were doing. And nobody cared. Balls flying out of the yard. People were loving it. It brought baseball back. So, yes, 100% steroids saved baseball. And let's just admit it. Let's just call it what it is. It was a part of that era. And then now we're testing. The game has changed. The doping mechanisms have changed. And we're trying to keep the game clean now. But let's just call a spade a spade. Steroids were good for the entertainment portion of the game at the time. It's a black mark on the game, but we just need to move past it. And you can't really fault those guys for doing it because so many people were doing it. That's my 2 cents on that.
No, I 100% agree with you. I think that there should be like with like the XFL, like for the NFL, dude, there should be something like for baseball. That would be insane.
Yeah.
You know what? Screw it. Actually, I think they call that men's slow pitch softball. I think that's what they call that one.
Yes, I think that is what they call that.
Well, let's wrap it up a little bit. Jonathan, what's your next move? What is your next move in the baseball world?
My next move is we're just continuing to work with minor league guys at More Than Baseball, just giving those guys resources as the season starts, giving them some tips and tricks. We've got a newsletter coming out for them now. We're going to be putting out videos for players just throughout the season to help them, give them some entertainment, try and keep it a little lighthearted, but at the same time, like, hey, we understand the economic reality of your situation. Here's a couple ideas that can help you get through that a little bit easier based on, our personal experience. So who have got as players or former players who have gone through it before. And then other than that, just continuing to help people with their money, just get their money right, invest for their long-term future. And I just make sure people have it all squared away. And I love doing it. What about you, man? What's up for you?
Let's see. So today I launched a merchandise website. I did that today.
Casual.
Yeah, just launching websites. And then
Point to you.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. And then but no, I don't know. I have no idea. There's a lot of things that I have ideas for that I think are crazy, but I think I'm gonna do what I can to try and figure it out.
They're so crazy, you just might do it.
Exactly. That is the
Heck.
that's the name of the game for me.
Oh yeah, Mason.
Life is never dull, ever. Always busy, never sleep. And I enjoy the shit out of it.
The life of Mason Hall. Cheers to that, my friend.
It is wild. Well,
Loaded Bases Podcast, first repeat offender. Happy to be here.
Hey, well, I appreciate it.
All right, bro. I think we're good.